Hi guys, Dan Harley here. I'm live from Kadza District, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and I thought I might do a Q&A of my trip over here. At this moment, it is, I think it's June 28th, 29th, 2015. You kind of lose track of time around here. And I've been here for about a week and a half or so. I usually live in Southern California, and came over here to visit, and thought I might give. So while I'm here, I've sent a bunch of pictures back and forth on Facebook and whatnot, and got a lot of people that are asking some questions. So I thought I might do this video. So anyway, also some of the questions are people that send questions in, as well as questions that probably you should be asking. So. For the first question, why am I in Vietnam right now? Well, a lot of it is we got family over here, and this particular visit is to go visit some family. A lot of business-oriented stuff here. My mom and I have had a lot of open-ended opportunities that have been kind of set aside while we've been taking care of my dad. Now that he's passed, we're able to pursue these. And so I've been sitting up, meeting some folks over here to lock up some business deals, and hopefully they'll come to fruition very soon here. Also, more importantly, to see my mom's beautiful house that she built here. She built this pretty much from 8,500 miles away in Southern California, and did a beautiful job. I'm so proud of what she's done here. It's a previous video I showed, kind of gave a tour of the place when we first got here. In fact, I'm right here in the courtyard right now doing this video. So we're gonna kick it back and enjoying life, what we can. And so that's kind of the three main reasons why we're here. Is predominantly business, but while we're here, maybe we'll have pleasure and see some family here too. Next question is, where is Can Tho? Most people don't know what Can Tho is, and get mixed up with Can Tho, which is a city on the Mekong. Probably about 100 miles or so away from us right now, or below Ho Chi Minh City. Can Tho is an island inside the Saigon River Delta. We're closer to Vung Tau. Those who are familiar with Vietnam, Saigon is kind of inland a little bit inside the river delta of Saigon, and Vung Tau is at the kind of the tip of the Saigon River, the delta, which faces the sea, stuff like that. Can Tho is kind of inland a little bit. We can see Vung Tau from where we're at. Vung Tau is probably about 5 miles across the river from us, and we got to see the open ocean. So we're kind of facing the ocean, facing Vung Tau, kind of the mouth of all this here. We're technically in Ho Chi Minh City, the city limits, but this is a whole other district over here. Those who are Vietnam veterans, you probably have never visited here before, because this is pretty much held by Viet Cong. It was predominantly mangrove forests. In fact, another video I'm going to put through here. We went to the Monkey Island where we visited the mangrove forest. This is a Viet Cong jungle camp. Pretty interesting stuff. But it was just, I tell you, those folks that were fighting for the other side, so to speak, they had it pretty rough over here. So anyway, this was a kind of free drop zone for bombing. Since if you were Air Force or flying jets or helicopters, you would drop your bombs over here before you land in Tan Son Nhut or Bien Hoa. So this is, like I say, I doubt if any American veterans visit here unless you're going after the bad guys. So it's pretty much swamp and marshlands. Nowadays, this is quite a bit different. The most of this island is still mangrove. It's still fairly underwater, stuff like that, but kind of the tip where we're at is kind of resortish, beachish, and stuff like that. So it's nice and quiet. It's compared to Saigon itself, it's very, very quiet over here. And it's just a completely different lifestyle than in the city, in Saigon proper. So that's kind of where we're at. There's some beaches over here. The beaches I call brown beach because they're really working beaches. They have the fishermen. They're people that collect clams and crabs and literally fish right off the beach here. So it's not a pretty beach like Boom Tao or Nha Trang or Hawaii or some the beaches of Huntington Beach like Southern California, stuff like that. But it has its own romantic nature to it. You know, it's neat to be able to sit on one of these restaurants overlooking the beach, watching people literally get your food for you while you're eating it. It is something a bit surreal, you know. As you can tell here, we're really enjoying the lifestyle here. It's not, we're outside right now, and you're hearing what you hear birds chirping and stuff like that, and then very little motorbiking, unlike in Saigon or Hanoi, where you hear motorbikes and beeping and all this stuff. So it's really, really kicked back over here. Next question: am I planning to move or stay here permanently, or how long am I going to stay here? I personally am not planning to move here permanently. Obviously going to be here, come back and forth quite a bit if everything goes right with some business transactions. And this is where our base headquarters is going to be, and for good reason. When you conduct business in this area, in Asia or Southeast Asia, a lot of it's relationship developed. So this house, as beautiful as it is, has an ulterior motive. We want to bring some our clients, our potential business relationship prospects over here, give a good time, have them kick back, relax, and become friends with them. You build that that relationship over this relationship by that. Whereas in America, we're kind of fast, emails and phone calls and cut the deal and we go with it. Over here, it's more long term. So this whole area, this compound here has its motivation, financial motivation, for lack of better terms. But my plan is here permanently? No. In fact, we're going back. My wife, my son, and I are going back into July, because Daddy starts school in the beginning of August. So we'll be here for about another, a little bit more than a month. So, so that's the question there. The next question is, how are the women here? Believe it or not, I got a question for that. Well, being married, I really don't know. I got a pretty good one, but if I were single, I got to tell you this in here. This is an incredible place with some beautiful women. I'm sure the veterans, in fact, my friend of mine, Todd here, he's having the time of his life. He's single, and no shortage of finding women around here. There it is. It is a little bit too, well, dare I say this, a little easy here, especially if you're American. They got to kind of watch out, because they're quite often there's a good girls and there's a bad girls anywhere, but there are extremes over here. When the bad girls are here, they're really looking for something other than just simply, a date or whatever. They're really looking to lock you down and get a green card. Be upfront about that. And the girls you really want to marry, for lack of a better term, you're not going to find the bars and stuff like that. They're going to much more difficult to find, such as my wife. Being married here, I guess from my perspective, if I were a single man, I would think this would probably be single man's heaven. I'll be up front. Okay. If more single men knew about what's going on over here, I'm sure every single jumbo jet that could possibly be brought over would go from America to here, filled with single men. Could possibly be that good. So I hope that answers the question there from a single married guy's perspective. How's the internet here? That's the next question. How's the internet here, and is it blocked? I presume to talk about the Great Firewall in China. The internet here, I'll give a perspective. I've been coming here for about 10 years. When I first came here, internet we were most predominantly internet cafes. In fact, I was a little bit concerned because of my background, I do internet internet consulting. I need internet or I'm dead in the water. And my first trip here in Vietnam in 2005, I thought I would be basically cut off from the rest of the world for about 3 weeks because I figured there was no internet here. I was so grateful when I turned the corner and found just dozens and dozens of internet cafes. And back then, that's how the locals, the natives, access the internet. They usually have one building full of computers, and that's how they got online. I'm amazed how fast this country has adopted and embraced the internet. Roll up to now, okay? I have fiber optic to my house here, and I'm probably maybe 2 miles away from mangrove forest with crocodiles and monkeys and critters that when you walk in those areas there, you're not the top of the food chain. You're somewhere maybe in the middle. So we're basically the Tules here. I have internet access as good, sometimes better, than some of the areas where we live in California. I know, for example, in Phelan and Wrightwood, where they're just begging to get anything over there other than the wireless services here. I have better internet access here in the Tules in Vietnam, in the jungle of Vietnam, than in the United States. So Verizon and Charter, what the hell's wrong with you people? Why can a developing company over here in the middle, I'm in the middle of the jungle here, get better internet access than what you guys are providing? So go think about that for a little bit. So with that in mind, is it blocked? Oh, absolutely not. One of the things I do test their firewall here. In the beginning, there were some issues. They used to block Facebook and stuff like that, but it was pretty easy to get around, especially with my talent. Nowadays, they don't even block it. One of the simple things I do is I simply go to certain porn sites, and if I can access porn, then pretty much it's safe to assume there's no filter. And I do that professionally. So anyway, I have completely access to Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, just like I'm downtown Los Angeles. In fact, the bandwidth throughput is pretty impressive. I mean, I'm able to get on some backbones in milliseconds compared to several hops that we had to do back in the States. So we're doing pretty good. It also allows me easier to work there. But that's the next question. How do I keep working while I'm here? In fact, I'm going to expand on that with a different video to help some folks out. They're going to be traveling abroad, whatever. I have been working remotely for a long time. In fact, when I got married in 2006, I knew I was going to be here in Vietnam for about 3 months or so. So I planned that for about 2-3 months beforehand to work remotely. In fact, I set up several workstations and really went to the coffee shop or went someplace else in America and remotely accessed them with phones and everything to make sure I was able to continue working, because I had to continue work. And surprisingly, it worked very well. Even back then, we're talking about 9 years ago, even 10 years ago, I was able to go to the internet cafe, hook up my laptop, and access my computers back home. Sometimes even better than if I was in front of my computers, because I have several workstations at home, but I usually use one monitor, so I'm able to only see one computer at a time. Whereas over here, I'm able to access all the computers and see 2, 3, 4 of them laid out in front of me. So it's actually sometimes a little bit easier for me to work here than at home. One thing too is phone. That's the big thing I was concerned with. And I have been and still use Skype, of all things. Skype had been, the quality has been, still is pretty darn good. It's kind of the standard when you're doing internet phones, and also when you're doing the international communications. That's kind of, there's other services out there, and frankly, the services are better than Skype, but Skype tends to be the standard. In fact, when I first started working remotely in 2006, my neighbor in Apple Valley, 3 doors down, he didn't realize I was in Vietnam. He called me up my regular phone, which I forwarded to my Skype number. He didn't realize I was in Vietnam until about 30 minutes in the conversation. So that's how good it is. Ironically, I had a little bit more problem today, this trip, that I did back 9 years ago. I had, because we didn't have internet access. For whatever reason, the internet was cut off here. So it took about almost a week for us to get back online. Then I got fiber now. Then I had some issues back home where some of my computers were not rebooting like they're supposed to, which I took care of that. I had somebody literally come over to the house and reboot the computers. So I keep moving, and thanks to what I do and my background and having been well seasoned working remotely, I continue working even on here. In fact, I got a couple new clients while I'm over here. That's back in California, so it's there's not a huge interruption. In fact, it's kind of nice to be able to work over here. I'm a little bit some of the distractions at home are not here, so I'm able to just focus on certain things, get things done much better, much faster over here. So anyway, next question: how was the food? Oh, I cannot even describe how good the food is. I know I've been sending some pictures back home on Facebook. The seafood here is phenomenal. We're, like I said, we're kind of this fishing village where you almost can't. The only thing, you only get the fresher fish or seafood is if you caught yourself and ate it around the boat. The market here, each one of these towns or cities in Vietnam, they usually have this little bizarre street market or a central market. In Canzel, where we're at here, not far from here, the fishermen, they actually really bring their boat to the back of the market, tie them up and sell the fish right from the boat. And oh man, seafood. I mean, Saigon's renowned for its phenomenal seafood, or Boomtown and all this stuff. But I tell you, I challenge anyone to find better or fresher seafood than in Canzel here. So I really, really love it. And then we've been in Saigon a few times and love the food there. Always do. Ironically, I got a little bit stomach upset a few days ago. I have to admit, probably because of the food we had such good food here that we went into Saigon. Its food was not as high quality and kind of caused some issues. Nothing permanent, but I definitely can tell the difference. So anyway, I am working on 18 minutes on this video here. I'm going to cut this short, and I'll probably do another one sometime in the near future here. I encourage you to visit my Facebook page, like me, all that good stuff. Also, I have all this stuff on my blog site at danharleyjr.com. Very soon, if not right away, relatively soon. I have everything packed up and put over there. It's kind of an archive to go back and forth to visit, revisit my trip here. So anyway, with that in mind, I'm going to close this off. From the Canza district, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. I hope everybody back home is well. Wish you well. Good luck, Godspeed to your success, and we'll see you next time.